blah blah. Today, we're here to kind of do a follow-up video for our Quirk discussion video, Quirk concepts specifically, because we've been receiving a good couple of comments throughout the course of like 6 months.
Or mainly over the last month.
I guess so, yeah. People have been like adding more of their comments and responses on Quirk concepts. So I wanted to take this opportunity for us to make another video, just kind of looking at everyone's Quirk ideas and getting some feedback and seeing if there's any kind of tweaks or something that we'd really like to see in the show. Let's actually start off with probably the first input. And this is just a note, this is actually March 17th, which we're reading this, at which point that's all the people who have commented thus far. Gabe, why don't you go ahead and get started with whoever was first?
First was 6 months ago from I'm Just Saying. His Quirk concept is Smart Bullet. The idea is similar to Momo's Quirk, but different in the sense that you can only make bullets, and you can control their path and trajectory with your mind. But you can only make about 10-20 rounds every hour. If you go over the limit, you temporarily lose your eyesight. As you progress your Quirk, you can make different types of bullets and make bullets sooner and keep your sight more often. With help from the support class, you could have a contact lens made for targeting and tracking better, and a belt filled with extra bullets you made earlier. In emergencies, you could use some sort of sonar device or train your ears when your eyes aren't working. First off, I want to say, stupid idea, Mark, you're a fucking idiot.
Dude, Kurogiri looked at him like, oh shit!
I have quick reactions, but bullets are really fast. But it's a fairly unique idea. For me, it feels way too similar to Momo's, but also way more limited.
Question, just based off of what was being read, couldn't he make bullets and just save them?
Yeah, that's what he said. A belt filled with extra bullets that you made earlier.
Oh, right, okay.
And with that, yes, you can have them more for later. But 10 to 20 rounds every hour feels very limited, considering the size of a bullet. Losing your eyesight over it also feels like it's unrelated to your Quirk.
Unless, yeah, he is referencing Snipe a lot in Momo, so he's thinking about, it looks like it to be a combination of the two.
It falls out of line for me in the sense that it's a very low amount. The drawback feels like it doesn't really correlate well with the Quirk
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it does seem to fall in line with a lot of people's quirks to the very extent. The extent of it is the limitation. I feel like just being only able to make that many like rounds in an hour or so, that seems limited by itself.
Granted, you don't need to make a lot in gunfights if you can control their path, but it still seems like just a small amount. Even the biggest bullet I can think of, about a 50 cal, is only about yay big. And to make only 20 of those in an hour.
And you also have to imagine like what part of the body makes that as well. So we have to really think about like the biological process of the body.
Is it very much like Momo where it's the lipids in the body? Or is it just something that they create out of energy? More questions than answers that I get from this. It's a lot of explanation, but it feels like it still doesn't explain enough. But he had another Quirk concept, Hercules. When activated, you gain immense strength and resistance to damage, but only for about 5 minutes. If you go over the 5 minutes, you experience 12 cramps in different parts of your bodies, in reference to the 12 labors of Hercules. And this one, I really like it. It's simple, and it makes sense.
Seems very difficult if you're like on a long duty mission type thing.
But the fact that you're immensely strong and resistant to most damages, it feels like a really good bit. 5 minutes seems like plenty of time, especially when you consider I can't remember his exact name.
Sugar Rush?
Yeah, I knew his hero name. I couldn't think of his name. But with Sugar Rush, where he gets, I think, 2 minutes for 5 grams, and it's 10 times his strength.
I think so. Something like where it's get amplified the amount of sugar you take in.
Yeah.
But of course, that's a big drawback.
Yeah, it's a limited amount of strength, a limited amount of time, but it's an immense boost of strength, with a huge drawback if you decide to push it too far. And I like it.
Yeah, it's short, sweet, simple. It's kind of like All Might's current quirk at the time, which was, you can only bulk up for like you're pretty much near invulnerable, but like after like 3 minutes or so, 3 hours.
Yeah, he has 3 hours a day.
Yeah, which is still a lot. But of course, as the season went on, he could only do it for a limited amount of time.
Less and less time as you push yourself harder and harder. And I like it because it's more than just I'm strong. It's I'm strong and you can't hurt me.
Right.
I'm gonna bull rush you like no other.
Yeah, and once the villain knows that, they can make countermeasures as well. So you can.
I have 6 minutes of walls for you to break down.
So yeah, I feel like in that situation, that type of hero would need to have some kind of sidekick who could like really bring in enemies to him.
Mm-hmm. Like a Kurogiri.
Yeah. So does super strength also like equate to like super speed, for example, or just run normally?
To a degree, your super strength will help you move faster as you're able to kick off harder from the ground.
Yeah.
Giving you more of a burst.
Okay. So he's faster. So
he's faster relative to his strength, not faster relative to his speed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Really simple. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
So next one.
You want this next one, Justin?
What's this one? This is from Jay Slayer 15 a month ago. The Quirk concept is muscle hair, and I believe I actually replied to this one. It's a mutant type, so it's kind of similar to and I made this comment before. The guy from, I guess, the Uniformic Academy, the one that Cammy was in.
Also, Aang, the Last Airbender.
Aang, Last Airbender. Basically, it turns your hair into a muscle, and the weakness and handicap is that if you cut it, it won't grow back. So that's really interesting because you have to think about like, at what point do you discover this is your quirk and why is my hair not growing back?
That seems like a huge drawback too. Because what if you're fighting Spinner and he's just like, fuck your hair, and just chops it all clean off and you're just bald?
Yeah, it's high risk, high reward type of deal where it's like, you rather deal with enemies who could just deal blunt damage, or better yet, can't like singe your hair off, cut your... Well, actually, is there a difference if you get your hair singed versus like getting it trimmed, cut?
I feel it's the same difference because it's still removing hair.
Yeah, okay. Any type of hair removal then. Yeah, you have to watch out for that. Otherwise, you're pretty good except for in the water.
And how does the muscle work? Do they just like band together like an actual fiber?
Yeah, so I guess in the sense it is just like extra appendages. So obviously if you were to train them like going to the gym and your hair just does weights.
Your hair's just jacked.
You have muscles. You need muscles, eye muscles.
You need muscles on your eyes.
That's not my quirk. It's not my quirk, but I'm just saying.
If you want to be number one, you need that.
And you see someone with actual quirks that have extendable eyes, like that one dude.
Yeah.
That's gross still. But in any case, what did I say here? Yeah, it's a hair that extends the quirk. I can totally see it. You can't cut your hair as you grow up until you find a good length for it. So at that point, like once you've discovered it, you need to find a good length, because if you just keep growing it, let's say it gets I guess hair just grows indefinitely. So I've never seen someone who's grown so much hair that I just can't even see them. I'm pretty sure there is someone like who has it all the way down to here. Something like Rapunzel's hair. That's Rapunzel.
You just look like Cousin It from what's it called? Addams Family.
I'm trying to wonder like what's a good hair length. Maybe just. Well, I guess it depends on like your application. Do you want to be like a Spider-Man type of like length, where you just like shoot it like all the way over there and you just keep it in a massive man bun?
Right. You just Rapunzel it.
That's nuts.
Say fuck all and just be Rapunzel. Never cut it to any length ever, and just let it grow wild. Mm-hmm. But then I have to ask this question: if it doesn't grow back, does that mean does it grow until you cut it?
Yeah, that's what I was also thinking.
Because hair grows from the moment you're born.
Yeah.
Or was this person just born with just fabulous locks of love that stretched a mile back?
I feel bad for the mother.
It just keeps coming. It's like the handkerchief gag.
I guess you really would have to settle down with like one hair length if you ever want to get a haircut.
Mm-hmm. Better be happy with it.
Yeah, or at that point, just don't get it cut.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we're gonna go on to the next one. What does this one say, Gabe?
All right, this was 2 weeks ago by Thomas Jackson. Its quirk is Printer. Boy inherits mutated quirk like Shoto, where it's a combination of the parents. Dad can eat plastic, mom can secrete food. This is actually more along the lines of Bakugo.
Okay.
Because his is a mutated double quirk. And the idea is the kid can eat plastic and shoot it out of holes in his palms of his hands or feet, as if he were a 3D printer. It can be developed to shrink the holes and increase pressure, and can propel himself with melted plastic while creating a structure at the same time. And
what does he follow up with?
He follows up with just like, depending on the type of plastic, he can actually create the different plastic as well. So eating nylon, he can shoot out nylon filaments. Eating PET lets him shoot PET filament, and mixtures of materials make a composite. Setback is probably like, what would you do with it? How do you make the material last? And for me, one of my setbacks that I chimed in with was plastic is gross.
Hey, like
you can eat it, but would you want to eat it?
Hey, look, if you need resources, like this seems like maybe this is not the perfect like hero application quirk, but it could be very productive in other departments.
You would definitely be a favorite among support class. And to a point, you'd actually make a really good hero, or a really good recycling plant employee.
Yeah, everyone looks to you.
Yeah,
like everyone looks at Moomin Rider.
And I like it. I like it a lot because of the idea behind it. Because it just says you can eat plastic and create things with that plastic. So if need be, say you have a sword and you're chopping someone up, and it's like, well, this ain't working. You eat your sword and make a fucking mallet. Or, you know, if you're feeling frisky, talk to Smart Bullet over there and make a plastic gun that shoots his bullets. And just fuck people up.
Interesting. Oh, those two can collab. I see it.
Collab.
I see it.
Right? A lot of Momo quirks out here.
Yeah, I think that's actually a fan favorite instead of, you know, I think it would be more like elemental ones, but no, this is actually, now we like to make stuff.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
I'm trying to think of like other things that you could do with it. The idea that he could propel himself with the plastic, just like some just like planted thruster, where instead of it being an actual propulsion system, it's just him pushing off of it.
I think it's dumb, but it reminds me of just like you creating a tower in Minecraft. Just
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the application. You get to a certain height and you just have something you can make foundations out of. So just make a plastic house.
Right. I'm wondering like how they would make complex structures, like with a ladder. The ladder is very simple, but at the same time it's complex because you have to connect the two things to make the rung in the middle.
Right, unless you do that like separately, like maybe do two separate like things, and they have like dividers, like holes in the dividers, I guess.
So you make one side, another side, and then you make the rungs for the middle?
I think so. I think that's how they're going to try to do it. But you also have to think about the complex sliders, like the ones that sit by themselves. So that's also another thing. I think in that case, Momo would have like an upper like advantage because she doesn't have to really worry about the complexity, but moreover like the compounds.
Yeah.
Components.
With her idea of like 3D printing is, yes, it has to come out of her, but the thing is, it's just out of her. So she can make a really big thing, and as long as it's not wider than the dimensions of her, I'm pretty sure she can make it relatively easy. Whereas with this, you have the surface of your palm. So you can't exactly you can make the rung of like one leg of the ladder, but you can't make the rung because that would extend past your hand unless you did make the individual rungs and pop them in.
Interesting.
So this one feels limited, but you can make fairly decent applications out of it. And again, it just comes down to how you use it.
Right.
Which is the main story of My Hero. How you use your quirk defines you as a hero. So want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure. We got James, the gay guy. This is my OCS. OCs? Oh, okay. Opposite. That's the quirk. With this quirk, he can reverse someone's quirk. For example, if someone had a fire quirk, if he touches them, and reverse their quirk into an ice quirk. Okay. It only works as long as you're in its field of vision. As soon as he looks away, it goes back to normal. I hope that makes sense. His alias is Flip, by the way. Just the prime example, like with Todoroki's, if he touches his right side, he pretty much goes into flames. That actually would be pretty cool and helpful in a way. And of course, if he touches his left side, then it turns to ice. So
Well, it just seems like if he touches them, it will just flip their quirks entirely. So I think if he were to touch him, it would just be a complete flip, where his right is left and his left is right.
Oh, yeah,
It's
okay.
not, I get to choose just one half of your body. It's, you fucked. Fired. Wait, that's ice.
What about our wind guy who just emits wind?
That's one thing that I was wondering about this is how limited is the application of this? Because you have I don't know what they're called, the projection types or whatever it's called, where like how Momo is, where they create.
So how would you reverse that? Would you just make it so she can't actually generate it?
She destroys everything she touches.
That's strange.
She's overhaul.
Like if you were to like touch Jiro, like what would she do? Like because hers is a physical.
Yeah, there's a lot. This one also raises questions. Is like, what would be the opposite of certain things? Because Jiro makes sound.
Right. She just has ear jacks like in her.
Yeah.
And she can like amplify based on her heartbeat and stuff like that. So it's like, in that case, if you touch it,
Does she quiet things down?
Or Denki.
She fucking, this character just fucking bitch slaps All Might, and he becomes even smaller Might.
Small Might. And then you also have to think about like what would happen to Deku, but actually specifically what would happen to Denki because he just
He'd be weak as fuck. He'd be even weaker than fuck.
Would he be like a Pichu? Would he just like literally just shock no one but himself?
I don't know. Like if you were to activate his quirk, it would make him weaker. So he'd be SpongeBob, struggling to barbell curl some teddy bears.
Wow. Or what about like Sugar Rush? We do the
Would the sugar slow him, make him weaker, or would he now have to eat vegetables? Eat your veggies. No, Mom.
Oh, what about Aizawa? Instead of canceling it,
He amplifies?
Yeah, I was like, huh. So, I mean, if we're gonna just take that into assumption, like this has like several different applications depending on who you partner up with.
That's when Flip slaps Eraserhead, who then looks at All Might.
I don't know if All Might can actually handle that. Even he would just be like, "Oh, is this what Deku feels?"
He's just like, I haven't felt this in years.
Oh, him matching up with Shigaraki. They're miracle workers. Lost a limb. No problem, fam. What?
Shigaraki or Overhaul. I'm trying to think of like who else can we amplify.
You could amplify Stang's quirk.
Yeah.
Put him in a state of paralysis for way longer than necessary. I was also thinking like,
He's been in a coma for 7 years.
touch Shigaraki. Touch Stang. He grows his nose back.
Yes.
Like, everything's clear. What about the Spinner? Does he have a quirk other than just being like a mutated?
He's mutant. That's it.
Damn, like, what would happen to him?
Nothing much, because Aizawa can't
Right.
affect mutant. Slap Eraserhead. Have him look at who was I gonna say? Denki.
Ooh. Big ooh.
Just permanent mental retardation after that big shock. He Thors that shit from Ragnarok. And what were you the god of again?
I think Denki would be like the most powerful thing.
Just kill everyone in a 40-mile radius.
Except for Mirio because he held his breath and just like... What would Mirio's be like with that combination? Look at Aizawa. Look at Mirio. He'd be great to fight against Mirio as long as you got a grip on him.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's real bad.
So
Him
depending.
versus Mirio would be so much trouble for him.
Yeah.
Like not for Flip, but for Mirio.
Like imagine like if he was actually like part of Class 1A fighting Mirio for the first time, and he just so happens to like look at him, and even like if he's not touching him, if Mirio like gut punches him,
He would touch him, and he would have to actively be solid. Like he would have to actively think about being solid instead of actively thinking about being intangible.
yeah.
That would fucking disorient him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I didn't have to think about this, and now I do. And if I don't think about it, the thing I had to think about happens. And it only works while you see him. So you touch him, he goes intangible, drops down, and as soon as he's out of eyesight, it's back to being tangible because it undoes what your quirk did.
Actually, I have a question. What about naval laser, dude?
Naval laser?
What would be the inverse of his quirk?
I don't know. James, there's so much to like try to unpack from this quirk. So I say we move on before we hurt ourselves.
Okay, all right, good job.
Good job, James. You broke it. This one comes from Kung Fu Panda 60.
Okay.
Quirk concept: gravity manipulation. It allows the user to control gravity itself. Could push someone back. Could do the opposite. There is a lot of possible moves with it. The setback is that you would need to focus to use it, and if you overuse it, you get headaches and not be able to use it.
Okay.
All right. Actually, so I do like this one.
Okay.
It's almighty push and pull, basically. Now, is it just push and pull, or could you make gravity wells just in space?
I'd like to say that maybe that's something he learns later on, or he develops. Because right now it seems like he can only like control things or control it like for himself. I think specifically on a character that the creator for Fairy Tail he makes I forget what the series is called. It's a manga right now called Eden Zero. It's his newest work, and the main character has the power of gravity itself, exactly how he applies it here, except for the drawback.
Okay.
Where he can control like how like light his body is, and if he wants to move forward in a fast, like based on like the speed of gravity, he can actually like change his center of gravity so he can like shoot himself that way. So he's literally just falling forward. So I like the idea.
That is cool.
Considering I've seen like an application of that specifically.
I like this because it does feel balanced, especially with the drawback. The drawback is since you have to actively think about this, it just gives you a major fucking headache. Just the idea of it.
Right. It's also very similar to Uraka's gravity quirk.
Yeah, where she gets motion sickness.
Right. Those are definitely two particular quirks that can like work together.
I think it's really cool because it's like, all right, you're really, really far. Come here, bitch. Bah! And after you make that real solid punch, push them away and just send them through a building.
I like the idea of you see someone from afar and you do a drop kick from like 12 feet away.
It also feels very much like a different rendition of Magnus Quirk, where he was able to create positive and negative magnetic pools.
Yeah, that was cool.
Depending on your sex.
Yeah.
And it just feels like a more complete version of that, where it's just like, all right, just like you said, just hip, and then drop kick them from a mile away.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Dynamic entry.
You could finally dynamic entry and make it real. Actually, I think Deku actually did that when he fought against Spinner's blades.
Yeah, he did that.
That was nuts.
I think I made that joke too when we were watching it. This one feels like the most complete one, in my opinion.
I think it's the most adaptable as far as combat too. I don't really see it too well in like other support types.
I can see it as a good support type if you can create gravity wells. Like if they have the ability to create a gravity well, you could use it to at least make debris lighter in the case of a crisis.
Yeah.
You don't accidentally just make a new crisis by pulling all the debris up and moving the people that were in that debris to get re-crushed.
Oop.
You could just make a very minor gravity well just to make it easier to lift shit up.
Yeah, okay.
So this one and Hercules are my two favorite ones so far because they feel really balanced.
Okay. In that case, we can go into this one. This is center of the world. This one is Shell. That's the quirk. Can create a tough shell around the user's body that acts as an armor. Increasing the user's combative and defensive capabilities. The shell can also be detached from the body to be thrown to a certain target. However, once it's detached from the user's body, it will weaken and eventually break. So I'm looking at Shield Hero. Actually, weird enough, I think about the video game Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. One of your characters is Koops, and he's like a literal Koopa, and he can use that offensively and defensively, helping his allies, creating a detached shell and covering Mario or whoever else. Actually, just Mario. Yeah, I think it's pretty short, sweet, straight to the point. I guess the way I think about it is that what if you could try to strengthen the durability of that shell over time, and how would you do that? Would you have to do exactly what Grape Juice would do it? He would just create shells, get rid of them, create more shells, get rid of them.
With this, I think of it more as, because the way they say it's a shell around the body.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that much like our everyone's favorite hard boy, Kirishima, it's more of an outer plating that he makes around himself. And he can kind of cicada himself, where he surrounds himself in the armor and then just kind of like breaks out of it if he needs to. And then he throws that, and it's just a solid casing of himself. But since it's no longer attached to him, it just slowly decays and breaks down.
I see. I mean, there's definitely still like application for that quirk as far as just like kind of being a bodyguard. Really, that could be a profession for this particular character.
And depending on how long it takes for it to decay, if that's something that they can build on and work to kind of slow the decay down, it could be pretty good in like a crisis situation.
Yeah.
Just make 5, 6, 7 shells. As you break out, just put people inside of it and then cover it whole down. That way, when the tragic event or whatever happens, the shell will take the brunt of that.
Yeah.
And they can still get out, because eventually it'll decay and they just kind of just hatch themselves.
I was also still thinking about like the whole bodyguard application. In that case, like maybe that's your only like defensive thing you can do. But what about offense? I guess you can even just carry a gun in that type of scenario. So the support weapons would help him out big time for this. Otherwise, primarily it's a really good like defensive type maneuver. Although granted, if it's an outer shell of himself that he can, maybe it's flexible, maybe.
That is a question.
Yeah.
How is it flexible, or is it just a solid chocolate coating?
Yeah, in which case like you can actually deal like a lot of blunt force with that.
And even with that, even if it is like non-malleable, you can still just kind of like break it at your hinges and just
just
and although your joints are exposed, you could still wallop someone with just this nigh indestructible freaking gauntlet that you now have.
Yeah. In which case, actually that's kind of interesting. Like if it's really strong here, what about over here? Because I would think like it's evenly distributed. So could you even like break out of that?
I would hope that they have like control over how strong it is in certain areas.
They don't. They're like,
it's just a solid
just
shell.
like
because it can be detached is the thing.
Right.
And so I figure they have at least some control over it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, let me just build it around right here, leave it detached right here, and just go to town while my whole front is covered.
Yeah. In which case, I think if it's only like for him, then he can only help the immediate people around him. And it can't be something that he can like spread out to other people unless he works on the whole decay process.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting quirk.
All right. So now we have a big jam from just a few days ago, 6 days ago. Taste test. Type mutant. Anything you eat, you automatically know where it was in the last 3 hours and who touched it with DNA. Weakness. You can't choose whether or not you want that information. And the more you ingest, it hurts your head.
It is a lot of info.
It also gives teeth like Kirishima and a long tongue with more taste receptors. Dude, mealtime would suck. I would hate lunchtime, because you eat that carrot and you just know the whole creation process of that carrot. You know every farmer that ever touched it on its way to the supermarket. You know the grocer that freaking purchased it and took it to the school. It seems like it's just who touched it last. All right, so you're not overwhelmed with the whole life cycle of this carrot now.
Okay, so you just have to worry. It's from the lunch lady. Don't worry about it.
You just automatically know that, okay, the lunch lady did this. I would hate to have this job. Oh, the criminal passed through here, and it seems that they passed through the food court and had lunch. What did Where did they go? You're gonna have to try all this discarded food. I quit.
Some people are okay with that. Others, like our friend here, wouldn't. Can kind of see it in more of a more Pacific detective work.
Yeah.
In a sense.
You'd make one hell of a detective.
In other like active applications, maybe not so much. It's a very niche quirk.
Also, it says where it was in the last 3 hours. You just get a 3-hour flashback of where this food was, as opposed to where the person that touched it went.
Your first respondent, you have to.
Yeah. I feel this would be way more applicable if you had more of a sensory type to it, to where, depending on who touched it last, you know where they are. Like, you have a sixth sense of where they are.
And in that case, the drawback isn't too bad as long as you know what you want to use it for.
And as long as you make your own food, you're fine. Just become a world-class chef. That way you don't have to worry about all this who touched it last. You touched it last. You made that stew. So, Bloodhound, why is it that you always just make your own food? How come you never really go out anywhere? I have my reasons.
Oh boy, this one. All right, this is the latest one. This is from 5 days ago from Sterling Nation. This is Night Stalker. What is this? Emitter.
That's the type of quirk I was wondering about.
Okay. Whenever it's night, the person can see people's temperature. You can see clearly at night.
So whenever it's night, he can see the people's body temperature, see clearly at night, and control nocturnal animals.
Ooh, that's kind of overpowered. His main power is at night is too as well. It's just like Deku's quirk, but way powerful, and it doesn't completely disable the thing Deku uses in the beginning, like when he uses his arms or his flick. He can't use it anymore just due to just the whole fact that he just broke his arm. Dark blue, black, not green, yellow. But his main power during the day is like Midnight's quirk. Okay, hold on.
There's a lot going in on this.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna read through it all, try to process as much as I can, and make something out of it. Midnight's quirk, but the smoke is a baby blue color, and it works on men and women. Plus, he can turn into balls that are fast and is accurate. Plus, he can't go to sleep by midnight quirk or his own. Fun fact, he's the same height as Deku and is very skinny, has spiky blue hair, and has a crush on Tsu. Okay, and she does have a crush on him.
All right, so what I'm getting at this is a fanfic that this guy just decided to write down as a comment. You threw way too much. You're making a fucking Mary Stew right here, and I'd rather it not, because this dude has like 19 different powers with virtually no drawback other than he can't go to sleep.
Love the fact that he's not canon. So what I'm getting out of this is like his is specific to nighttime, and he can actually see very well at night, and he can talk to animals. Great. So he could work really well, or whatever this person is, could work really well with Aizawa. What's that moving the brush? Aizawa, that's just a rabbit. Okay. Rabbit says that someone's over there. Oh,
there's just a lot in this comment.
All right.
And it really just turns into rambling after a certain point.
Yeah, I did feel a run on.
His main power is at night is it's just like Deku quirk, but way more powerful, and it doesn't completely disable the thing Deku used in the beginning, like when he used his arm or flicks and can't use it anymore. Also, it's dark blue and black, not green and yellow, but his main power during the day, it's like Midnight quirk, but the smoke is a baby blue color and it works on men and women. Plus, he can turn it into balls that are fast and is accurate. Plus, he can't go to sleep by Midnight quirk or his own. So, the way I'm unpacking that is on top of his being able to see at night, on top of his being able to see people's body temperature and control nocturnal animals, he's also super fucking strong. But when he uses his super strength, it doesn't hurt him like it hurts Deku. He glows. Okay. He also has the ability to create the smoke cloud like Midnight, but instead of it being a purple, it's a baby blue color. It works on men and women to put them to sleep, but he can also Mineta that shit and turn it into balls, and he could boomerang that motherfucker and throw them fast and accurately.
Listen, I think All For One got a hands on this kid. He decided to implant it with all the different quirks so he can possibly compile and just be like, you know what, this is a side project. Don't mind this one. But he broke loose and he's like, shit.
There's just too much going on with this, man.
To be a complete asshole about this, Sterling, you sound like a middle schooler who's writing a fanfic self-insert so that you can fuck Sue.
Listen, and I appreciate the hustle here because I feel the same way if it was like, you and I and you in June I and when you and I actually do appreciate how this could like possibly lead to just like a side project that All For One did. Just like make it like a random ass character that just comes in later in through the series and it's just a big troublesome piece of work. So I'll give you that though. Well,
that's all of the comments for now.
Yeah, that's all the comments for now. So I think from here on, if anyone wants to add more, we could reference this old video, or we can reference any others in the description below because I would like to hear more Quirk ideas.
And who knows? Depending on how long it takes you to actually release this video, there may be more comments, and we just fucking staple another clip at the end of this video.
Oh my god! No, I think it'd be really cool if we reach like a certain number, like either likes or like views. I think views would really be there. Otherwise, we just look on the number of comments. I think this was a pretty sizable amount, being minus like a couple of the replies. Maybe it would be like 10 or so.
Well, it's a good thing that this was only a 45-minute video.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. But I do like elaborating on these and just like really digesting like what these could have implications of. And just it's really cool to see like community like so into like My Hero Academia, so much so that they want to create their own quirk and possibly submit it to Horikoshi and hopefully see it come in because it's still ongoing right now. So and we're at a certain point in the show that actually dives into a lot of what people have been thinking a lot about, but I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I would say I appreciate everyone like submitting like their comments. It was just kind of weird how it all just suddenly came up out of nowhere. But hey, I think this would also help out more people finding the video and commenting on it and then finding this one. So please continue like leaving comments and just letting us know, because if you guys make more, then we'll probably make more of these in the meantime. But yeah. In the meantime, I think we'll just end the video here and hopefully we'll follow up again on another video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. #bye everyone. And you and I.